So text level tags are very simple, seemingly so, because they just go right into the text that you're typing, like at the paragraph level. And these are probably the most important ones, the ones that you'll run into the most. But they actually can be pretty complicated when it comes down to deciding which one to use. So here's a little code that I've marked up with a couple of different tags ahead of time. So we've got this little paragraph here, and it starts with the word note, which is an important tag that kind of stands out. So we're giving it the strong tag, which is, it's different than emphasis. It's denoting that this text is important, but it's not necessarily emphasized. Now this sentence goes on, and it talks about HTML5 here, and I'm using the ABBR tag, which is for abbreviations or acronyms, and you can put a title attribute and actually expand the abbreviation or give the meaning of the acronym right in there, and then the browser will know, and this can be useful in various ways. So moving along in this little paragraph, we're talking about the B tag. So I'm actually going to mark that up with this code element to indicate that it's code. Now notice that so far I'm not talking about what I want it to look like, I'm just talking about what it means. The temptation is going to be to say, I want code to look monospaced and a different color or underlined or bold or something, but that's all stuff that you do later with CSS. And the browser will actually have some default styles that you'll see when I load this in the browser, but you're going to be thinking in terms of the semantics, not the presentation. So you could say just use a strong tag to mark up this B code and get a similar looking result, but it's going to have a big difference in meaning, and you don't want to have the browser thinking that your code is about one thing when it's really not about that. Because especially in future browsers or browsers that you aren't exactly sure how they work, for example, text-to-speech readers for blind are going to interpret it differently. They might emphasize it or do something, and they work that out, and we let them work that out based on the semantics, not based on how we want to present it. This right here is the character codes for the less than and greater than symbols. So it's just the open and close caret. So this whole thing right here will show up looking like a B tag in brackets. And this word right here, semantic, in the context is emphasized. I'm emphasizing that it wouldn't be semantic. And then here we have code again, but this time it's the same thing as up here. It's the B tag with the brackets given. And again, they're escaped into the character code so that it doesn't actually put an actual literal B tag in the code and then mess up the syntax. But this is actually a defining instance of this term, of the B term, because right here it's actually going to quote the specification that defines what B is. And so this is a definition now. That's what you use this tag for. And the definition goes around the term that's being defined, and it's the first time that it's being defined, and you can link back to it with other tags later on, but you need to link back to this, and so if they read this, it'll actually have the definition here. So this is a definition that's being quoted from the W3C specification, and this Q tag means that it's a quotation. And you notice I didn't actually put quotation marks in here, because the way browsers are doing it right now is when they have a Q tag, they will put the quotes in for you. But it's not semantically wrong to put quotes in yourself. I just did it for convenience sake. And then lastly, we've got this link here to the HTML5 specification. And the temptation is going to be used, if you're slightly familiar with the site tag, is going to be to use the site tag for this, because you're saying this is what the HTML5 specification says. And you might think, well, that's the citation of where that quote came from. But that's not what the site tag is. This is more appropriately just a simple link that links to the actual specification. The site tag would be for the title of a work. So I'm actually describing the HTML5 specification here. This isn't the title of the specification. But right here, this is the title of a work. This is a book. So let's save this and take a look at what it's going to look like in a browser. So for all of that code, there's not much that looks different, you'll notice. It's for the most part just kind of black text. So the strong element was rendered bold here, and then the code for this and this made it monospaced, although you can use CSS to make it look like whatever you want. Right here, nothing actually happened. Even though this is an abbreviation, the browser doesn't do anything. But if I kind of, did you see it pop up a second ago? Sometimes you can get it to give a little information that would pop up this text right here, hypertext markup language, and expand it for you. This is the newest version of Chrome that I'm using right now, and it's just sort of implementing these for the first time. So things will settle down into a more standard way, given a little bit more time. And then this here, this is the quote. Nothing was changed except that it added some quotes in. So just to emphasize again, we're not looking at what it looks like, we're more interested in what the meaning is. This link is clearly different, and then this citation just got italicized, but it could have easily not been, could have easily been bolded. With CSS you can do anything you want with it, really. So let's go back to our slides here.